WIBTA, if I tell my friend her bridesmaids won't be throwing her an extensive bachelorette party if we aren't invited to the wedding? Story 1. So I 27F am friends with Jane 28F. Jane and her fiancé Brad 29M recently got engaged. Jane is one of my best friends and we have known each other since college. When talking about our future weddings, Jane has always expressed that she wants me and a handful of our other closest friends to be her bridesmaids and to have a destination wedding. When I saw Jane and Brad the day they got engaged, one of the first things Jane said to me was how excited she was for me and our other friend to be her bridesmaids. This was about a month ago. However, now that Jane and Brad have started looking at wedding planning, they have decided to have a tiny destination wedding in Colorado and only immediate family will be invited to save money. They also plan on having a casual party for all of the rest of their family and friends after, but there will be no ceremony or sit-down dinner and will be very clearly not a second wedding. Even though I was disappointed and hurt to hear that I would not be invited to the actual wedding, I understand that it is their right to have whatever kind of wedding they want, and if it is not important to her that her best friends be there, that's her choice. But what irked me is that Jane still expects a bridal shower, a long weekend trip to an expensive destination for her bachelorette party, and mentioned a registry for wedding gifts. I find it a bit ridiculous that she still expects to have these things thrown by and presumably paid for by people that aren't even invited to the actual wedding. She still insists on calling us her bridesmaids, but since we will not be present at the wedding and will have no special designation at the party, I don't see how we actually are. Our friends are a bit split on what to do about this. Some want to confront her about this, some think that would be an asshole move. So WIBTA for telling Jane that if she's not having a traditional wedding she can't expect traditional wedding benefits? ETA, I think a few people are misunderstanding my point here. I'm not saying I don't want to celebrate her at all, or that she shouldn't get anything outside of her wedding. What's bothering me is her stated expectation of a big shower and bachelorette trip. She explicitly said she wants to go to Scottsdale. We are in Tennessee, so this requires a flight without an invitation to the wedding. She could throw any kind of backyard, courthouse, big, small, whatever wedding, and I would be happy to do all of the above as long as I was actually invited. First comment. A quick Google search will tell your friend that it's a massive social faux pas to invite someone to a bridal shower who isn't invited to the wedding and that bridesmaids are attendants at the actual wedding. Also, people not invited to the wedding have no social obligation to provide any sort of gift, though a nice card filled with your good wishes is a thoughtful gesture. In terms of a bachelorette celebration, since there are no bridesmaids to organize it, and it's not socially acceptable to invite people who aren't invited to the wedding, perhaps a compromise of getting together at someone's house with a couple of bottles of wine and everyone bringing an app. Or brunch out the weekend before the wedding with everyone picking up their own check and chipping in to cover the bride would be a great compromise. A book on wedding etiquette would make a perfect engagement gift. Second comment. TA. You don't get the whole 9 yards if your wedding isn't the whole 9 yards. She sounds selfish AF. I would just say, since you are just doing a private family-only wedding, let's organize a close friend's celebration after you're married. If she says anything to that, say, well, we aren't invited to the wedding, so a bridal shower, bachelorette at CC doesn't make sense. Put it on her. If she still pushes back, just bail out. Doesn't sound like a friendship you want to maintain anyway. Third comment. Bonmem NTA. She is tacky AF. Either she has a wedding with a wedding party in attendance for the ceremony reception, or she does not have a wedding party. She's making a choice to have a wedding with no wedding party. She has no bridesmaids to spend money on her or help her plan. If she needs those things, she needs to talk to family members who are invited or hire a planner. She cannot expect wedding gifts from people she is not inviting. It would be a nice thing to happen if someone not invited decided to send a small gift, congratulations, but to expect it is unreasonable, entitled. But to basically demand a free vacation gifts from people she initially included who she has explicitly cut out of the wedding is a way to ensure those friends realize they are nothing about an ATM to this greedy, selfish person who is not their friend. Story 2. Ada for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after what she did to my fiancé. So, my 28F sister, Ella 31F, is getting married in 2 weeks. We've always been close, even though we have our differences. I've always been more of a laid-back, introverted person, while Ella is the life of the party and loves being the center of attention. It never bothered me much until now. I've been engaged to my fiancé, Mark 29M, for about a year. He's wonderful, kind, supportive, and just an all-around great guy. My family has always liked him, or so I thought. But about a month ago, something happened that made me question everything. Ella asked Mark to meet her for coffee one day, saying she needed help picking out a wedding gift for me. I didn't think much of it at the time, but when Mark came home, he was really quiet. After some coaxing, he finally told me what happened. Apparently, Ella spent the entire time trying to convince him that I wasn't right for him. She told him I was too boring, that I wasn't ambitious enough, and that he could do better. She even went so far as to suggest that he should call off the engagement and see other people. Mark was completely blindsided and upset. He said he defended me, but it was clear that Ella was relentless. I was furious when I found out. I confronted Ella and she didn't even deny it. She said she was just looking out for Mark and that she wants the best for him. When I asked her why she thought it was her place to interfere in our relationship, she just shrugged and said she was being honest. I told her that what she did was completely out of line and hurtful, not just to me, but to Mark as well. She didn't apologize. Instead, she doubled down, saying that if I was confident in my relationship, I wouldn't be so upset. I ended up leaving her house in tears. Since then, I've barely spoken to her. My parents found out about the situation, and while they agree that what Ella did was wrong, they're begging me to still attend the wedding. They think that missing it would cause a huge rift in the family and that I should just let it go, for the sake of peace. But I don't know if I can. Every time I think about what she did, it makes my blood boil. I feel betrayed and hurt, and I don't know if I can just pretend everything is fine for her big day. Mark supports whatever decision I make, but I can tell he's hurt by this too. So Ida, for refusing to go to my sister's wedding after what she did to my fiancé? First comment, NTA. Ella didn't do anything to your fiancé, she did something to you. She belittled you and tried to ruin your romantic relationship. Why would you go celebrate her relationship after that? It is understandable that your parents don't want the complication of children fighting and having to explain your absence. But keeping the peace translates to let people treat you badly to make my life easier, and that is not fair to ask. They are the parents. Hopefully they are asking Ella to apologize, otherwise they are too. And hopefully Ella's husband is aware of how casually and unapologetically she is willing to backstab and hurt her sister, who is her family as he is soon to be. Second comment. While she did this to your fiancé, I think you are very hard trying to ignore the things she said about you. She put you down as much as she could, trying to get your fiancé to break up with you. I don't understand why you would consider going to any of her events at all. You do realize she called you boring, unambitious, basically too shitty for him, and when you confronted her, she said she did it for him. So she thinks and says these things about you without shame. You don't mind that part at all. Next time they tell you to go to the wedding, say that you are too boring and don't want to ruin it for her. Surely she will have many friends who are much better than you at everything, to give her the support she deserves. Third comment. Ask her intended if he knows the quality of person he is marrying and the lengths she will go to ruin her sister's life. Ask how someone so despicable managed to con him into agreeing to marry her. No way in hell I would go, and I would make it very clear to both parents and sister that you won't lie for her. Anyone who asks will be told exactly why you aren't there, and if your parents bully you into attending, you will make sure everyone hears about her attempt to break up your relationship and exactly how despicable you find her. NTA. This is scorched earth territory. Story 3. Ada for walking away after I discovered my fiancé had intercourse with a douchebag. I will keep this as short as possible because I don't want to waste your time, but for some context, me 27M and my ex 27F have been in a relationship for 7 years, soon to be married, although that will never happen. I discovered her affair by simply seeing a message on her phone from douchebag talking about how good sex was. Stupidly enough, she didn't even attempt to cover her tracks. She simply had what I assumed was AP name saved in contacts. I should have felt anger, but I simply felt. I just accepted she wasn't the one I could spend the rest of my life with. Recently my wardrobe broke down, so I had to use luggages as a makeshift wardrobe for the time being, so my clothes was already packed up, which saved me time. I waited for my ex to go work and I just left a note on fridge saying have fun with douchebag and moved out. Her name is on the lease so I could leave without any consequences. There was some furniture I bought, but oh well. I also blocked her. For the time being, I'm couch surfing at my brother and sister's house and I feel calm and peaceful checking out. However, she sobbed a lot to my parents and they aren't happy that Elle checked out without hearing her perspective, but I simply felt nothing. My fiancé did have a good relationship with my Parents, my sibling on the other hand, think I did nothing wrong. Maybe I am an asshole for not caring. Maybe I'm justified for what I did, so Ada? Also, I have a question for anyone who cares. What would you do in my situation? Let me know. First comment. If she cheated, you owe her nothing as far as I'm concerned. You still might want to confront her just to make absolutely sure though. Beside that, I don't see any reason for why you would abandon the furniture you paid for. I know it's the easy way out, but furniture is expensive. And do you really want to subsidize you cheating ex? Second comment. TA, she's sobbing because now she's dealing with the consequences of her actions by having to watch her spending since she's got to carry the apartment by herself. You handled the situation perfectly. Your ex just wants to make a scene because people like her thrive on drama. Don't feed the drama beast. Third comment. NTA. Replace, don't chase. Walking away is the solution.